Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, welcome to this great channel. If you are watching this channel for the first time, please take your time and subscribe, like my page, and share the video as much as you can. Today in this video, I want to pose a question to you. Should President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta betray Raila Amolo Odinga? Or should he betray his deputy president, William Samoei Ruto? I'm asking this question because one of them must suffer betrayal for this country to move on. The politics of betrayal started way back with the founding fathers of our nation, and it has continued and stayed with us to this end. When Mzee Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, the father to the former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga, was approached by the colonial masters to form a government, history and sources have it that he declined this offer and demanded for an unconditional release of Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, the father to the President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And so Mzee Jomo Kenyatta was released unconditionally from detention. They formed a very wonderful government with Mzee Jomo Kenyatta being the president, our first president of the nation of Kenya. Jaramogi Oginga Odinga became his vice president. It did not last long, and they fell out. It is being said that they had sharp political and ideological differences that they could not hold together. Mzee Jaramogi Oginga Odinga went ahead and formed his own party. He did not live to see the presidency as he would have wished. When President Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi ascended to power, he did not miss out in an opportunity to play the politics of betrayal. In the year 2002, when it was clear that Moi was going to exit power, Moi wanted his own boy to remain in power. Moi formed a government that was very unusual, because in his government he had what we call the young regional kingpins that he had called and coiled and surrounded him. He had Honorable Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi from Western, then a young politician who was being seen to be almost a kingpin in the larger Western Kenya. Of course, there were others like Michael Kijana Wamalwa who were in the opposition. There was Kalonzo Musyoka from Eastern. There was one Ngala from the coast. And there was Uhuru Kenyatta, who was hurriedly nominated to the government and given some portfolio. He was representing Central. We had Raila Amolo Odinga, who abandoned his party and joined KANU. It is being rumored that the late president, Daniel Toroitich arap Moi, had secretly told each of the young tasks, that is Raila Amolo Odinga, Wycliffe Musalia Mudavadi, Kalonzo Musyoka, and Ngala from the coast, that he would exit power and ensure that each of them takes over. And when the time came, Moi surprised all of them when he suggested that his preferred candidate was Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, a young and experienced son of the first president of Kenya, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. Moi betrayed his vice president then, the late George Saitoti. He betrayed Raila Amolo Odinga and all the other young politicians whom he had promised a fair nomination process, who would have picked a KANU flag bearer. And so, all of them suffered betrayal except Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, who was preferred by Mzee Moi. They all walked out and formed LDP, the Liberal Democratic Party. In that very year, the year 2002, Kenyans had made it clear that they were tired of the Nyayo era of KANU, Chama cha Baba na Mama. And so they urged the opposition chiefs to ensure that they worked together if they wanted to remove KANU and defeat its project, who was Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And so very hurriedly, the Liberal Democratic Party that was being headed by Raila Amolo Odinga, Musalia Mudavadi, George Saitoti, Kalonzo Musyoka, among others, decided to have talks with another camp of opposition that was being led by our retired president, Mzee Emilio Stanley Mwai Kibaki, the late Michael Kijana Wamalwa, and Honorable Charity Ngilu. They had a deal, and in the secret MOU that was never shown to Kenyans, the status quo would remain, that Emilio was going to be the president, with Michael Kijana Wamalwa being the vice president. But then, after they ascended to power, Raila Amolo Odinga was going to become a prime minister. Kenyans voted overwhelmingly after Raila Amolo Odinga had declared that Kibaki was the man to remove KANU and uproot it completely from power. You remember that rallying call, Kibaki Tosha. From coast to northeastern, from the western to central, they all voted for Emilio Mwai Kibaki. And on the swearing date, people sang Yote Yawezekana Bila Moi. because there was a new air of breath, fresh air. People could not just believe that KANU was gone. Kenyans had hope. In fact, it was reported that when the common man witnessed any policeman taking bribe, they will catch him and frog march him to the police station, because they felt Kibaki was the real epitome of change and a man who was going to fight corruption, because it was under these pillars of fighting corruption and ending corruption, creating development, that the Mwai Kibaki brigade had campaigned on. This did not last long. We started hearing undertones of Raila being denied entry into State House, and we realized that there were people who were controlling State House. We had people like Ambassador Francis Mudhaura. We had people like Chris Murungaru, the Minister for Internal Security, and many other then called Kitchen Cabinet. And sooner we realized that there was an MOU that was not honored, and Kibaki sharply disagreed ideologically with the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. Raila Amolo Odinga felt so much betrayed, because during their campaigns there was a time when Kibaki got an accident and he went to Britain for his treatment. Raila Amolo Odinga carried out the campaigns with a lot of passion, that he could not just believe that when Kibaki had ascended to power, he could afford to betray him. And so Raila Amolo Odinga decided that he was going to take on Kibaki head on. I'm saying this, ladies and gentlemen, to show you that Kenya thrives on politics of betrayal. And the question I want to ask today is, should Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta betray William Samoei Ruto, or should he betray Raila Amolo Odinga? The presidential race is coming out crystal clear that it is a two-horse race. Raila Amolo Odinga versus William Samoei Ruto. The former Prime Minister versus the current Deputy President. The Deputy President supported the President of today in 2013. Both of them found themselves in an unlikely territory, because they had been indicted to go to the Hague, the International Court, to answer to charges of allegations of human atrocities, of perpetuating, planning, masterminding, and perpetuating violence against the common wananchi. And so they were strange bedfellows that had been forced by circumstances to work together. They structured their campaigns and they sold a narrative that it was Raila Amolo Odinga who was taking them to the Hague. I have always said several times that our politics is rooted and founded on tribalism. Anytime a politician finds himself in trouble, he would run back to his community and rally them behind him and show the community that it is you who is being targeted. Do you remember Kimunya with his "I would rather die than resign"? And so, ladies and gentlemen, the deputy president would his community to back their candidature. And in 2013, an election that was almost controversial and was contested in a court of law, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and William Samoei Ruto were declared a president and a deputy president respectively. In their second term in 2017, they mounted such a vigorous campaign, colorful, with t-shirts and caps of the Jubilee Party. William Ruto worked so hard. He went into all the corners of this country. You know, William Ruto is a go-getter. He is an extrovert. William Ruto is energetic. And he understands the politics of Kenya. William Ruto understands the politics of propaganda. And he spreads it so much, articulates it so much that it looks like the truth. He knows how to package a lie that when he presents it to people, it looks real. And so William Ruto, in his aggression, helped the president to win the second term. When they got into office, of course, it was also contested, and you remember the then Chief Justice declared that the election was null and void and ordered a re-election. They went for that re-election and they won anyway because they didn't compete against anyone. Their main competitors having decided not to go for that rerun. In their campaigns, they had promised their supporters that largely come from the central Kenya and the Rift Valley region that His Excellency Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was going to do his 10th term and then leave the deputy president and support him to do another 10-term regime. It was sold to their people that there was this Kumira, if I hope I pronounced it well. It was Uhuruto, that it was Uhuru Kumi, Ruto Kumi. They said dawa ni dawa. In other words, the same method they used to defeat their closest opponent in 2013 was the same formula they claimed that they had applied to make sure that they ascended to power in 2017. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and William Samoei Ruto looked like they were very much compatible. They were young men from Kando. You could look at them and admire them. Even if you didn't support their presidency, the way they conducted their affairs in public, it looked marvelous. When they read their first cabinet in 2017, they came out from their offices wearing the same shirts, and they folded their sleeves in such a way that with the same red neckties, they showed their supporters that they were together and they would work together until Uhuru completed his term. And all their supporters knew that this was a combination that would never break until Uhuru supports Ruto for his 10-year term. Ladies and gentlemen, as we speak today, you all know that it is a different story. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, the president, looks like he has preferred to work with Raila Amolo Odinga, his chief nemesis, a man who was his closest competitor in the year 2013 and the year 2017. William Ruto now looks like a lone ranger. He is a man in government criticizing the same government. He has always claimed that they had their agenda to deliver to the people their promises until the president brought in Raila Amolo Odinga in that famous handshake. And William Ruto claims that after the handshake, the priorities changed. He says that it took him by surprise that the priority of the president was now to change the constitution to create positions. If you ask the president, he will tell you that there wasn't anything that changed except that they had realized that Kenyans fight in every election year and they wanted to fix this. And the president explained that it was only the Building Bridges initiative that was a train towards achieving all this remedy to the Kenyans who fight every day after elections. And so, in a nutshell, the president started a new journey. He abandoned William Ruto and found a partner, a brother. He calls him my brother, Raila Amolo Odinga. His handshake friend, his handshake partner. You remember how the deputy president was humiliated when they were in Bomas launching the Building Bridges initiative? You know what has happened. At some point, the president had to give a warning in public. Wewe Ruto unatangatanga. In fact, I believe that is how Ruto and his brigade earned the name the Tangatanga Group. Ruto, in his characteristic nature, said that yes, nina tangatanga, but as I go around, I'm looking and trying to supervise the projects that we started together. The president looks like he's very much keen to ensuring that Raila Amolo Odinga ascends to power. Remember, he promised Ruto that he will do 10 years and support Ruto to do a 10-year term. Now it looks like it is a betrayal. And I'm asking, who should the president betray for the next government to be formed? Because after the handshake, Raila Amolo Odinga convinced his people that they are now good friends. The president can go to Kisumu on his own and be received overwhelmingly, and people call him in Kisumu Baba. Recently, he attended the birthday party of Raila Amolo Odinga, and sources say that he kept on referring to Raila Amolo Odinga as the fifth meaning the fifth president. If the president turns his back on Raila Amolo Odinga now, Raila and his people will say that they have been betrayed by the president because they have worked together. There are claims that ever since they had that handshake, there is peace in the country. The president alludes to the fact that Raila Amolo Odinga gives him pieces of advices that really are very important to the running of the economy and running of the government as a whole. He has applauded Raila Amolo Odinga in public in many functions. The president has dedicated some of his talking time to call Raila Amolo Odinga to greet the people and address a public breaking protocol, just to ensure that his handshake partner gets some airtime to talk to his people. And so if he turns his back, the support base behind Raila Amolo Odinga will go back to the streets because they are used to it, claiming that they have been betrayed. And you know what that means. Raila has a support base that can throng the streets and bring Nairobi to a standstill. When they throng the streets, businesses are closed, and it is not business as usual. If the president proceeds with what is being seen as a betrayal to the deputy president, because it looks like he has abandoned the deputy president, and the deputy president has lamented. Hence my question, between these two people, a man who helped the president from 2013 and they formed power together, campaigned very vigorously with all his might, passionately, to ensure that they got into power again in 2017. A man whom they formed the government together on a 50-50 basis. Ruto took half of the cabinet and the president took half of the cabinet. Also, it is assumed. These young men from Kanu, who campaigned on a platform of tumetoka analog, tunaingia digital. They campaigned on a digital platform. Should Uhuru Kenyatta betray William Ruto? Or should he betray his friend, whom I understand they started way back when Uhuru's father was the president and Raila's father was the vice president? They had a handshake that they claim, or it is witnessed, that has brought normalcy, tranquility in the country. At some point when the president was in the US in some function, he promised the international community that the handshake was to stay because there was peace as a result of the handshake. He has applauded Raila, he has praised him, that Raila's magnanimity, Raila's magnanimous nature has been seen in several occasions. To date, if you look at our president, he looks like a man who is at ease. He looks very fresh in the mind. He has nothing bothering him. Should he betray his handshake partner? I'm asking this because for the next government to be formed, one of them has to be betrayed. Who do you think the president should betray? From where I sit, I don't think it is a question of who. It is clear that the president has betrayed his deputy president, William Samoei Ruto. In my next video, I'm going to look at why the president betrayed his deputy, because as it is obvious that he has betrayed William Samoei Ruto. I don't know what you think. I just wanted to show you in this video that Kenya is not new to politics of betrayal. Only this time round, we are asking, what are the reasons why you think the president had to betray his deputy? Check for my next video when we look at the reasons that must have led the president to turn his back on his deputy. Ladies and gentlemen, those are my thoughts. What do you think? Or do you think the president has made a mistake, that he should perhaps just turn his back now and start working again with William Ruto? And what are the implications if he turns his back on Raila? And what are the implications now that he's not working with William Ruto? Of course, some of them are, he lost the by-elections in his backyard. Take, for example, Kiambaa. But we will do another video on this later. Let us continue with this discussion. Tell me what you think. You may have a different opinion, but let us keep this conversation going. If you are watching my video for the first time, please subscribe, like, and share this video as much as you can. Tell a friend to tell another friend to tell another friend to join, to subscribe. When you do this, the next time I do another video, YouTube will notify you and you'll be the first one to watch. You can always suggest the topics that you want us to handle. We are in a political season and we must talk politics. Until such a time when we meet again, thank you for watching. Bye.